welcome to another episode of Work 2.0, the podcast. As you know, my name is Rachel Wells, and not only am I host of this podcast, but we are at Work 2.0 on the road. Now, technically, we're not on the road because yesterday, as you know, I was at SXSW London, and unfortunately, a little minor accident happened where I sustained a little fall, so I wasn't able to come back for the rest of the event. However, interviews are still underway, and today I'm sitting across from me virtually is Ryan Serhant. He is the founder and CEO of SERHANT. He has a multi-billion-dollar empire, which is not just a real estate empire, but a media empire. Today, he was at SXSW talking about attention is the product. And today, we're here after his session to talk more about what that means in today's AI era and the implications for leaders and even founders and entrepreneurs today. So welcome to the show, Ryan.
Thank you for having me. Really appreciate it. Glad we can still do this, even if not in person. Sorry you got hurt.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. Let's get right to it. So I know this afternoon you were talking about, and we were just discussing this, attention is the product, right? I know that a lot of independent creators and even, volatile brands, they focus on chasing metrics like, viral views, and, everyone wants to go viral, and even, we call it vanity metrics. It's attracting lots of likes and attention, right? But for you, I know you see attention as something much deeper than that. You have a multi-billion-dollar flywheel that's primarily fueled by media. I want to know from you, what's your thought process from, taking something real estate, which is based on like traditional advertising, and reinventing and redesigning the wheel into media and a scalable media asset that really commands attention beyond just going viral?
Spending money, especially when you spend lots of money, is an emotional decision. And people make decisions really two ways, one with their wallet and one with their heart. It is very difficult to negotiate with someone's wallet. They either have so much money or they don't. Right. They can either borrow or they can't. They either have friends, family, or investors or they don't. Negotiating with someone's heart is a skill set. And to do that, you have to understand exactly what you're selling. You are fixing a fear. You're solving a problem. You are providing a lifestyle that they need, or most times they want. And so, I fell into this career very, very accidentally. I'm an accidental CEO. I'm an accidental real estate broker. I saw what happened when I first did $1 Million Listing New York, a TV show that followed me around for 10 years as I sold real estate. And people would reach out and they would want to buy the homes that we were putting on TV, except that show filmed most of the times 18 months prior to it actually airing. So the homes weren't available, but we would try to sell these people other homes. Great. If that's what you're looking for, I have 7 just like it. Let's go. And then as social media started to roll out, it was not a big thing for luxury, just like anything. It starts with kids. Kids can adapt. They can adopt. And I just was in my, I guess I was in my late 20s, and I saw the power of the visual medium of Instagram. And then when they were allowing photos on Twitter and a little bit on Facebook, and just said, if I can reach people through TV who then reach out to me about buying real estate, why don't I just do this on social media, but do it in an equally engaging way and tell stories and sell stories, sell lifestyle, help people solve problems and fix a fear. And we've just never stopped. And the big kind of aha moment came with YouTube in 2015, I want to say.
Okay.
Where, that was 11 years ago. Where, because I've always surrounded myself with people that are much younger than me for work, because I want to know where the pulse of the market's going. Where are you finding your information? How are kids influencing their parents? And they said, and I was watching somebody, he's like, yeah, I search for stuff on YouTube and then I just share it with my mom. I share it. Like, what do you mean you share it? It's like, yeah, anything I want, anything I need, and where we want to go, vacations, this, that, the other. Like, so if your parents were moving, like, would you look that up on YouTube? He's like, oh yeah, for sure. Like, you wouldn't go to Google or Zillow? And he's like, what's a Zillow? So like, well, a lot of these, and if I think about the decision tree, you have, one spouse, another spouse, and a kid. or one person, their mom, and then a banker, let's say. And I want to be able to hit all of them. And that share button, especially through YouTube 11 years ago, really made all the difference.
Wow. So would you say that all entrepreneurs, all founders, anyone who's serious about business would need to take the media route, like, solid media assets like YouTube and getting that sort of attention to be successful?
Listen, if you're building a business,
Mm-hmm.
you're a media company, whether you want to be or not.
Mm-hmm.
You just are making the decision of either controlling the narrative about your business or responding to the narrative
That's powerful.
because of
Wow.
your business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I am a big believer in controlling narrative. Do I want to? Not really. I'm in the process of we're buying a company right now. If it were up to me, this business we were buying, I wouldn't have there be any, I wouldn't talk about it. Just focus on the work. It's a pain in the butt. I don't want to have to answer all the questions the public's, but that's also not the cards we were dealt. So I can let the media just write whatever they're going to write or not write, in which case you're a media company with no media and no one's talking about you, which is really tough, which means all of your growth is going to come through paid advertising or paid consumers, or you're just going to stay small, which is fine. Or I can control the narrative and tell the story I want to tell and beat them to the punch.
Oh, I love that. I love that. That's powerful. It reminds me of a few episodes back. I was talking to Tyler Denk, who's the co-founder of Beehive, and he said the exact same thing, that for him as a founder, and his philosophy for founders is, these days people build trust and connection through that transparency, through that, if a founder is writing the blog, for example, versus a PR team, and it's kind of distant, there's a bit more connection. And that was his philosophy, that he personally writes his own blog because he feels there's immense value in people seeing things through the lens of the founder, like getting direct.
Yeah. Listen, especially now, like I write my own LinkedIn posts. I do my own Instagram stories. Like I have a direct connection, and where people connect these days. And I was just on stage, right, at South by Southwest here with Sir John Haggerty, and he was talking about a kind of a defining moment, was the invention of the microphone, when one singer, one person could sing to many. If it was because all of a sudden with the microphone and the technology of amplification, you could put one person in a very, very big room and a lot more people could hear your voice. This generation's microphone is the front-facing camera. Not even just the camcorder from 30 years ago, but really the ease of use of that front-facing camera, so you can speak to many while just speaking to one. You and I right now are the equivalent of FaceTiming with one another, and you could just do this straight to your front-facing camera, and then the world gets to decide how many people want to also be a part of that FaceTime, and that builds authenticity and that builds trust.
That's precisely what we're doing right now. And this conversation we're having is going out to so many people that we will personally possibly never even see, but they're seeing it,
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Now, in owning Manhattan, you took a very bold strategic bet with luring Peter from Corcoran, right? You also have a team of over 1,000 exceptional employees who are stars in their own right. What would you say it takes to attract and retain world-class top 3% talent? Because obviously you do this very well. What does it take to attract and retain top talent?
People come for opportunity and they stay for results. That's on the agent side. That's also on the employee side. Yes, culture is important for sure, and it's part of a stickiness. Movement and mission and purpose are important for sure. It's definitely part of stickiness, but there's a lot of companies that are terrible with no movement, no purpose, and people do just fine.
Yeah.
I think as long as you are very clear on the opportunity you provide, and then you are very, very honest with the expectations as to the results that both parties, both the employer and the employee, or the broker or the agent, are going to achieve, you can have a great company with great people. I mean, the people who run Serhant while I'm sitting here in London, in this hotel room, have been with me from the beginning. They've been with me. I mean, for the most part, we add new people all the time because I like to add new ingredients and spice it up.
Yeah.
But they change their jobs, they change their roles, they update their titles. There's no ego. Everyone's just really, really hungry, and they totally understand the mission. And then it's fun, it's exciting. The culture is slightly crazy. And I think with me, they can when you come to Serhant, our mission is to help the world move forward. And if you're an agent or an employee with me, you are part of something that is moving incredibly quickly, where you have a lot of autonomy to make a real difference, not just in the business, but in the world itself. And anywhere else you could go, at least in our industry, you're just going to have a job. And you could do the greatest work of all time, but that job could always come to an end. For me, I allow everybody to write their own ticket. Be the role before you are the role. You want to be number one here? Prove it. And there's no red tape. Like there's no bureaucracy. I have no time for that stuff. And so that's kind of a little bit of what it takes.
I think what you just did is you just put out indirectly a job ad. I think people who watch this are going to be like, I want to join. You just effectively proved in real time what you mean when it comes to attracting based on results. And we saw that, we saw that with Owning Manhattan. Like you attracted Peter based on the prospect of, he could, that's all right. Your camera. You attracted him.
The Wi-Fi thing just popped down. Sorry.
That's okay. You attracted him on the prospect of, hey, you can be a sales manager, the sales leader for this development, So, and then what you did just here in real time. I'm not sure if you purposely did that or just slipped back into it, but that's your, philosophy for hiring. And I think that, especially one of the things that I was at another AI Future of Work event a few weeks ago, and they were saying that by 2030, about more than 70% of the workforce will be Gen Z and millennials. And I thought that was striking. But then beyond that, they said because of this, the motivations for work will change. So what would work for boomers or even Gen X is not going to work in 2030. And what you're doing effectively is your whole hiring philosophy and the way you retain your employees is exactly what would attract the Gen Z millennial workforce. Like you're already preparing your Serhant for the future.
Oh yeah. And I mean, listen, that workforce, even my daughter's 7, Gen Alpha, she's going to grow up and she's going to have so much opportunity. It's going to be overwhelming. And not because of me, because the world is going to provide opportunity, and you can just, create, as long as you create for good. I think it remains to be seen kind of what path the generation takes moving forward, but they're 100% going to align with movement and align with purpose.
For sure. So let's pivot and talk a little bit about AI. I know you have a proprietary agentic AI solution that's specific for the real estate industry. It's called S.MPLE. Am I saying it right? S.MPLE? Or is
S.MPLE. Yep, S.MPLE.
Yeah. Okay. And it handles everything from like marketing to data analysis to transactional workflow. Quite incredible. I want to know for you, because we talk a lot about when it comes to AI in industries, a lot of CEOs are saying they've deployed AI, but with their AI experiments, they're not seeing enough ROI. With S.MPLE, are you seeing really good ROI? And also, I want to know, is S.MPLE just for your team, or can anyone in the real estate industry use it?
As of this moment, S.MPLE is just for Serhant agents.
Okay.
And we are testing it as it gets better and better and better. For our agents, it's great. It deeply influences their business, and it removes all administrative tasks. Most salespeople, and we did this because one of our other businesses is called sellit.com. So we teach salespeople how to sell, how to operationalize, how to scale their businesses, how to build their brands in 133 countries. And we polled all of them years ago saying, what else can we do to help you make your life better? And a lot of them got back. We're kind of combing through the information with nothing that SELLIT could actually do, and nothing that we knew how to fix, because they were basically just saying it all was about their time. They could sell more if they had more time. They could
Wow.
increase their price point if they had more time. And we looked at it as an average of about 80% of a salesperson's day is doing administrative tasks
Wow.
in one way, shape, or form. 20% of their day is doing what only a human can do. So that's meeting with clients, that's going on a pitch, that's selling, like doing the actual selling, that's building actual trust, it's networking, all that stuff. And so we said, okay, well, that's a problem. Let's just solve a problem. Let's stop trying to think about being abstract. Let's just simplify. The number one problem salespeople have, which is that most of their day is administrative. So let's flip it. What if we could do 20% admin, 80% human? How can we think that through? So we started using machine learning to see if we could automate admin tasks. This is a while ago. And it's really, really, really hard to do. It's hard to do in a custom way. It's easy to do if you just want A to do B, right? But everyone is different. Everyone's completely different. And so what we ended up building is simple, which does just that. It removes administrative workflows for salespeople, and it empowers back office. It is not nearly as sexy as all the other stuff I think I do, but it is by far the one people care about the most now.
Interesting.
And it's an automated AI native operating system for salespeople that just doesn't exist. And so we've had a lot of fun building it and making it better and stronger, and it's been awesome.
I can imagine. You mentioned something really important about 80% versus 20%, and that's something I've seen in the workforce as well, even for managers and leaders. As you know, obviously, being an executive, you spend a lot of your time dealing with your team, but there are a lot of people that I know in leadership level, management, senior management, executive level, who spend like a good chunk of time on admin and busy work. And they only have about 30% of their time for strategy or for people management. And that needs to be flipped. And so what you've done effectively is said, hey, let's just flip this on its head and let's focus on, this is a real problem. We need to get that human element back and, less of the admin. Saying that, when you think about your company, Serhant, and since you started using S.MPLE, what job at Serhant or jobs at Serhant have completely, well, not completely, but fundamentally have changed in their, like, the nature of the role since you've implemented AI within your operations, like looking different from like 3 years ago?
Well, I mean, like everybody, all data entry, all tracking, all follow up, a significant amount of our marketing lift. We do a lot of marketing for real estate. It's a marketer's job, and that's from day one, listing presentations to, final sale, et cetera. So a lot of that has now been fully automated, to the stuff you don't see, like operationally in the back end, like managing a licensure, dealing with the Department of State and all the states that we're in, a good amount of legal, a lot of the contract review, contract processing, and a good amount of finance too. And then obviously our engineering team, like anybody today, every engineer that comes in is able to do the work of 10 engineers 5 years ago. And so you just have to keep up pace, and you just have to move fast, because the world is moving very fast around us.
For sure. I think my final question for you would be, as a CEO, from your vantage point, you've created a very highly custom solution for your company, which potentially could go further out. But you've created this highly customized solution which works exceptionally well for your agents. You've got the best of the best employees. What would be something that you feel a lot of CEOs are misunderstanding right now when it comes to AI adoption for their industries? Like, what are they not getting?
I think they are not getting that AI is not coming for everyone's job equally. I think it does not discriminate, but it is not a solve for everything. If anything, is sometimes what we are seeing is it empowers so many employees. It's actually creating a cost increase because of either the AI expense, or we can just hire more people because we're doing so much more business. So it creates bandwidth stretching, I would say. That's probably the main thing that I would say. Like, for example, like we, on the executive decision side, I can't replace people with just pure data.
Of course.
Data that doesn't listen to anecdote and data that can't predict future based on intuition. I also can't replace salespeople. Like there's a great article that was just written, I think, an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal by, I guess the founder of, I think it was Cloudflare, who kind of said a very similar thing, and also said that no one wants to talk to a robot. No one wants to be sold by a computer. You can use AI to empower salespeople, but not replace them. And I am literally in this. That's all I do. We sell all day long. That is, I could not feel stronger.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you so much for your time here on Work 2.0, the podcast. For those of you who listened to this episode or watched this episode and you want to learn more, feel free to leave a comment. I'll definitely pass it on to Ryan's team. And if you're intrigued about the future of work, the future of your industry, what's going to happen to your company or to your industry and to the market this year and in the very near future over the next couple of years, definitely stay tuned into Work 2.0, the podcast. Follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Substack, or wherever you get your podcasts. Like and share this with a coworker or a friend. And I'll see you in next week's episode of Work 2.0, the podcast.